Hi guys, welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be showing you how to increase watch time and ultimately get more views in general. And then going over this video, I've got it here for you. We're going to be going over the editing techniques, the hooks, when to start a clip, removing silences, captions, sound effects, the music, and also adding AI to all of this in general to make it easier. Now to start off, you're going to need to find a clip. So in this hour-and-a-half long podcast, it's a Jordan Peterson podcast with Stephen Bartlett in it. You're going to need to know what actually makes a good video. Now I've highlighted it here. I've just cut up the clip just before I started recording. So this is going to be my clip here. So I'm going to play it now, and afterwards I'll teach you why this is a good video and what does make a good video.
And there's a reason. It's a very straightforward reason. It's literally this: the more you are focused on yourself, the more miserable you are. It's as simple as that.
But that's society now these days. We're very...
I know. Well, and there are terrible forces pushing us in that direction. You know, like I could attribute this to the idiocies of a degenerate Protestant liberalism driven by postmodernism. But you could also just as easily point to consumerist capitalism. It's like, it's all about you. It's all about what you want. Worse, it's all about what you want right now. Worse, it's all about what your basest appetites want regardless of cost right now. Well, that's the same as being 2 years old.
Okay, so yeah, that's the clip. It's basically Jordan Peterson just kind of speaking about understanding yourself more can be a bit of a problem, and therefore it can actually lead to making you more unhappy. The reason why I know that this is a good clip and that this type of video will do well is straight off the beginning, the hook. I'll show you guys again the hook for you.
It's literally this: the more you are focused on yourself, the more miserable you are.
Now the reason why this hook's good is because it's very engaging. You know, we're not cutting off the clip halfway through a conversation and starting it from there. If we look just before, Stephen asks him a question, and the reason why I didn't go straight in to Jordan's reaction is because right here, I'll show you now.
Right, and there's a reason. It's a very straightforward reason.
He kind of stutters over himself. Kind of mumbling over himself, kind of quick to say what it is. So after that, he kind of clears what he's saying and then just goes into this.
It's literally this: the more you are focused on yourself, the more miserable you are.
So yeah, there we are. We have it. But I could have started it here.
The more you are focused on yourself.
But there needs to be a little bit of something before the hook. I've always found that to be a lot more better. So yeah, him saying it's literally this is it's kind of that's what sucks you into the clip, and then the hook just brings it out, and then brings the engagement in to the video. Once you have your clip, you want to create a new sequence, because this is the first sequence and the sequence for the whole video. So you can just create a new sequence like this. We're on Premiere Pro, so if you don't have Premiere Pro, then message me directly and I can kind of help you out of how to do it on CapCut, because I know a lot of you are on CapCut. So yeah, once you've created a new sequence for your first clip, you're literally just going to take the cut up clip which you've got and then just bring it over and paste it into here. Now this account which I'm editing for hasn't reached 10k yet, so we're still on the way. So your videos don't actually have to be over a minute until you've reached the 10k. So that's the reason why it's only 40 seconds long. So now that we have our clip, the next thing you're going to need to do is get rid of all the silences. So I'm going to go around and just go to where the silence is before and press C, and just this brings out your cutting tool, and then go to V, which is next to C on your keyboard, and just literally left click, hold down, and then I'm just going to delete it. And then when you have this gap here, you're just going to right click and ripple delete, and it will just cut out the space for you.
It's literally this.
You're going to go around like this and just cut it up. Make sure it's really sharp, and because here, for example, it's just before the thing. I'm tempted to just bring it here because I will see how it looks, but just because it brings that snappiness out a lot.
The more you...
So there we go. We're not cutting him out at all. We're just making it a lot more sharper because it's before he actually brings the word in. He's saying the. So it kind of cuts out the bit before the, like, I don't know, the mouth sound or whatever it is. So yeah, I'm just going to go around and do this for every break which there is. Okay, so now it's cut up. We've actually got rid of about like 10 seconds of just breathing space where he's not speaking. It's a good sign when it's like, I don't know, you've taken out 10 seconds out of a 40-second clip, because you want to be like chopping it up as much as possible. So now that we've removed the silences out of the clip, we're going to want to start bringing in color correction and kind of sharpening the clip in general. So if you're going to search up sharpen, I have some kind of presets now, but I'm going to show you what it would be like without doing a preset. You want to scroll down to the blur and sharpen folder, and it would be in there called sharpen. So once you drag the sharpen tool on, you're just going to go around and see what looks good. Now obviously this is a little bit too much, but I kind of range around the 70 to 100 mark for these type of videos, because it's like podcast related. It kind of, that style is to make it quite sharpened. So you want to make sure as well, when you have the sharpen tool, you let go, because currently it looks like bad or looks too sharpened, but if you let go, it would actually kind of process what it would be like when it's rendered. But I'm going to go for like just an 100 here, because it's not, I don't like to overdo it. And the next thing we're going to do is head over to Lumetri Color. And in here you can kind of change the color correction. Now once again, for these type of videos I don't really go past the basic correction. I do in other kind of scenarios, but as is a TikTok, you kind of got everything you need in this. So in this scenario it's quite like a sad, harsh video of what he's speaking about, so we're going to kind of follow that with like a cold kind of like vibe to it. Now depending on what the video is, if it's more of speaking something good about yourself, then you would make it more like orangey, but as I said, it's more emotional, so we're going to bring it to like a -10 on the cold side. I don't really mess around with the tint in this scenario, but I do like my saturation on around 120. Now the exposure we're going to put on -1, because you're kind of going for that darkened vibe, and with the contrast we're going to bring it up a little bit. We go for a 10 in this scenario. The highlights we're going to go and bring it to 20. And for the shadow, we're going to bring it down to like a -20. And you kind of want the black to pop in this case, but not overdo it. So like a -5 is good. And for the whites, I mean, I can look now. Yeah, we're going to bring that down to like a -10 here. So now once you have your Lumetri color and your sharpen, you're going to go back to the effects control. Just grab the both of them, and I'm doing this by holding the left control on my keyboard, and I'm just going to right click and copy it, and then have this all in general. Hold my left click and just have all of these together and just hit Control V. So this is going to bring the same color correction and sharpen for every single clip. Now we kind of have a kind of like quick and snappy clip. What we want to do next is make sure that we keep that engagement. So here we have the hook. What you want to do on the hook majority of the time is kind of have a face tracking motion on it. Now to do this, we're going to need to use our effects control on the motion, and we're going to want to have these lines here, which I have, and I've got these lines by hitting right click and just hitting safety margins and overlays. And then all you need to do is just line up the lines with the safety margins, because the safety margins are kind of in the middle, reflecting what the middle would be on either side. So once you've done that, I'm going to bring the scale to about 240, because I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and I'm just going to follow Jordan while he speaks. I'm going to aim for the middle point to be kind of where his mouth is, and I'm just going to press down here, and I'm using my arrow keys on the right to just go around and make sure that it's kind of in the middle of his mouth the whole time. So it's just bringing it down or up, left to right, and just kind of making sure every frame is on him. Now you don't want to do the face tracking the whole time. Just make sure like the most engaging parts that you have kept, you have face tracking on, because it can be like really engaging, and I like to do it a lot. So now that we've done that, we're going to look to start adding B-roll in to keep engagement. So after the face tuning, Stephen kind of interrupts him and starts speaking. I'll show you now.
But that's society now these days. We're very...
Yeah, no, and there are terrible.
So Stephen kind of says like, oh, that's society now. So in my mind, I've thought to kind of go onto Leonard. This is an AI generated website which will create you B-roll clips. So of whatever you kind of want. These are all the different styles on here, so I'm just going to have a look now and see what style I want. Something which I'm going to do society, so when there's like pictures of the city and stuff like that, I'll probably take them ones. So yeah, this one here is nice. So you just go to generate with this model, and once you've done that, you can once you've done that, you just literally put what he is saying majority of the time, and that will work. So he
But that's
says,
society now these days. We're very
I know.
so it's society are kind of like ruined by understanding your mind too much. So you literally just implement that into your prompt, and it will give it to you. So I've now put a man understanding society too much and can't control his mind, and it is generating 4 different pictures for you. If the pictures aren't really working and they don't really go to what you would like, then you can kind of like be a bit more specific. But yeah, looking at these now, these are pretty good, to be fair. I quite like these ones. So yeah, I'm gonna go through. Let's go for. Can't decide. We'll go for this one here. And then what you do, you just go onto this icon here and just click download image, and it will download it for you, and you can just implement it in. So now we've got our B-roll. You're just gonna go and drag it into your project folder, and we're gonna bring it down here, and I'm gonna put it over when Stephen's speaking. And I'm just pressing C and deleting this bit here. And I'm gonna go to motion and make sure that it is up to the top, because this is our TikTok file format, so going to need to be around this. And then we're going to go over and use our transform this time, because we're going to be moving it quite a lot. And we're going to go to the start of the clip and make sure that we're on the corner. You don't have to follow it the same as me. You don't have to start at one corner and go to the other. This is what I'm going to do. So we're just going to have it at the start here, and then go to the end of the clip and just bring it down over here. So now we have something like this.
But that's society now these days. We're very.
I know. And
so it's kind of like, it's all right, it's decent. Still a little bit like jagged in a way. So you're going to make sure your shutter angle is on 180. And on top of that, we're going to click this arrow here on the left. And these kind of icons will come up once you click the dot. These kind of make the speed of when it's moving different. And I like to just go for a middle point here. So yeah, if you want to follow my one, go for the middle one. It will look something like this.
But that's society now these days. We're very.
I know. And either.
So yeah, that one's good because obviously the guy's in the middle. So when it
these
switches
days,
over, it kind of reflects him being in the middle anyway. So another thing which I thought about, which I didn't mention at the start of the video, is kind of text at the start, like a title. A title can really help in the video, because the viewer can understand what is going on in the video, especially if it's something which they're interested in, because they're more likely to stay. So I'm going to go over to tools and click this T icon to create a new text box, and I'm going to say something like oh, hang on, we'll go back onto here. There we are. So I'm going on to Essential Graphics to open the kind of text box, and I'm going to say something like understanding this will ruin your mindset. And then once we've done that, we're going to go over and kind of pick an appealing font. And Montserrat's always good, and if you've seen my other tutorials, you would know that I'm a big fan of Montserrat, but this time I'm going to go for American Captain. It's the new font which I've kind of found, and it's really good. I really like it. So yeah, we're going to kind of fit it to scale. Make sure it's actually in the center of our text. So I'm just going to do this. We're going to make sure understanding is kind of in front of everything else, and understanding this will ruin, understanding this, make sure I actually do this, will ruin your, and then have it like that. So you can just go around and kind of see what works better. We're going to make it central, just make sure it's not running away from us. Yeah, we're going to make it more central, and then understanding this will ruin your mindset. So ruin we're going to have as red. Now you're going to want to get our color palette, which I've given you guys before, and just bring that in, and then just go on to fill and go red. Mindset we're going to have green, and understanding this we'll keep this white. Just have the main stuff with color. And then once we've done that, we're going to highlight all of them, go on to stroke, make sure it's black. I'm going to bring it down to 2. I don't want too much stroke. Actually, we'll go 3. And then we go on to shadow, make sure that's black, and make sure this is on 100%. 7, 7, and 40. That's the one I go for most of the time. Now we're going to make ruin bigger than the rest of the words. We're going to put them 170. Same with mindset, because they're like the bold words. And we're actually going to bring these down to 130, just to kind of make their big difference and make sure it all fits in at the same time. So yeah, understanding this will ruin your mindset. Get rid of the color palette now. So yeah, we'll have this, and we're going to do the same thing, but this time on transform when it comes to bringing it in. So we're going to use our arrow keys on our keyboard here, and just go 12 frames in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and do position and scale, and then go back to the beginning. And this one we're going to go from the bottom, and then same applies to this, just meet in the middle like so. Make sure our shutter angle's on 180. So now we got something like this.
It's literally this. The more you are focused on yourself, the more miserable you are.
So it looks quite good. I'm going to bring it down a little bit, just because I want to make sure it doesn't kind of go in towards his face. So yeah, make sure you're in the safety margins when you're doing this.
It's literally this. The more.
And I like this, but what I'm going to do is go back onto here, and I believe it's this one. We can kind of bunch everything up together so we have more room. So I'm just going to do that. So that looks a bit more better, and then we can just go back, make adjustments like so. So that looks pretty clean now. And what I'm going to do is go onto the preset packs, use drop shadow by just bringing it on like that. I've done it twice now, but yeah, so you just want to do it once. That'll just make it kind of pop more as well. Now we've got that, we want to move over to our captions. So we're going to go to text and create captions for transcript. And you can kind of have a variety of what you want to do, but in this scenario I kind of only want 1 or 2 letters showing at the same time. So I'm going to go 10 and 1. Actually, we go 1.5 and go on a single layer. That's going to create the text for us. This is like completely AI, which is really good, because if we're sitting there doing our own, it would take it forever. But yeah, Premiere Pro's brought this in, which is lovely. And there we are, we have our words, but you want to make sure you go over it, because there's a lot of stuff which they think that's what he said, but he hasn't, especially if they are from like a country like England, like where I'm from, and I don't know, they're like Scouse, let's say. They would never really pick it up. So, but American's more fun, and obviously John Peterson's American, so that's good. So we don't need any of these for the beginning, because we don't need too much text. So we're gonna cut this out, but we're gonna start it here. Obviously these captions are very basic, so we want to kind of edit this. So what we're gonna do is go to Essential Graphics here, and once again we can change our font. So I'm going to go for Roboto, but thin, and make sure that it's kind of in the middle. And we don't want it to cover the mouth, so we're going to go a bit below. And it's always good to kind of go around the chin area, bit below, a bit above. Like, it doesn't really matter, just as long as it's not kind of covering him that much. Now if you like your font and you kind of want this for the rest of them, then you want to head up here, go on to create style, and kind of name it a style which will kind of go towards what video you're doing. So we're going to put Stephen Podcast main font, and once you have that, you just need to click this arrow and just apply it to the rest of them, all captions on track, and now we would have it the whole time, which is sick. Now once you've gone over your spellies and you know that like there's no spell checks, you just want to highlight them all, go to graphics and go to upgrade captions to graphic, and then once you've got that, you go back onto all of them and go onto your presets. Now I've got increased text preset, but I don't think that that will be in the Discord. But what increased text is let's say we use this as an example. we just start here and have that like that, and then go 1, 2, 3, 4, and just put it to 110. So it just makes it bigger. And then you can also kind of put it in the same spot, so you can just have it like up a little bit. So once you do that, you just want to highlight them all, and then go on to vector motion and just go to save preset. And then we're going to save the preset, and I've just named it increase text preset. But for the other presets, I would have given them to you. So we're just going to put them in now. Just make sure they're all highlighted. So it's the glow, it's the increase text, and it's the shake. So let it all load. Looks like it's about to crash. Hopefully it doesn't. Okay, it didn't. But yeah, so now we have that. We can, it will look something like this.
It's as simple as that.
But that's society now these days. We're very...
I know. And there are terrible forces pushing us in that.
So now that we've done our text and you're kind of happy with all of it, you want to finish it off with the sound. Now you've got to really make sure that your sound is good, because it's a very underrated part of a video. If you don't have the correct sound, or like it's not, you don't have any sound at all, it really won't create that viral video. So I'm going to have a sound effect for the title here. And what we're going to do is go over to extensions and go to Premiere Composure. This is an extension which you can get for free online. So once you've downloaded it, you just want to go over to the starter pack, like I said, completely free. And we go down here and we're going to use the swoosh sound. This is a very popular sound on TikTok. I prefer my swoosh a bit higher, so I'm going to bring it up to 10 and literally just drag it in there. It's that simple. It's really good. So you'd have something like this now.
It's literally this.
So once you've done your sound effects, you're going to want to look to get some music over the top of it. You've got to make sure the music is related to what is going on in the video. So in this scenario, it's quite like down, maybe a bit emotional. So we want to follow that with a song which will reflect to the emotions which he's speaking about. So a song which will reflect kind of what's going on is the Rihanna Stay. This is kind of like a TikTok edit version. So we have it here. We're just going to delete the talk because we don't need it, and then just go down here and just bring it on. Now it will probably be a bit too loud.
It's literally this. The more you are focused on yourself, the more miserable you are. It's as simple as that.
But that's society now these days. We're very...
I know. And there are terrible forces pushing us in that direction. You know, like I could attribute this to the idiocies of a degenerate Protestant.
So it sounds good, but when it gets to the kind of drop, it's a bit too loud. So you just go to the drop, see, and then when it starts to go down again, you will just leave it there. So I'm going to bring it to here, C, and then this bit I'm going to have it on like a -5, and that should sound better, but we'll
Pushing us
see.
in that direction, you know, like I could attribute this to the idiocies of a degenerate Protestant liberalism driven by postmodernism.
Still sounds a bit loud. Now obviously you've got Rihanna singing in the background, and you've got kind of two people clashing. So it's not the best, but I think we can kind of work with something here by,
you know, like I could attribute this to the idiocies of a degenerate Protestant liberalism driven by postmodernism. But you could also just as easily point to consumerist capitalism. It's like, it's all about you. It's all about what you want. Worse, it's all about what you want right now. Worse, it's all about what your basest appetites want regardless of cost right now. Well, that's the same as being 2 years old.
So yeah, just bringing the audio down can help with, especially if there's lyrics involved or if it's too loud. So yeah, I've gone for a -10 here and it sounds a lot more better. After you've done that, you've pretty much got your video done. Just make sure that you're kind of repeating the steps I'm doing for all your videos. Make sure if it's a longer video, like it's going to be a minute long, you're going to want to use B-roll more than once. Just for this video, I've only shown how to do it once. But if I was to actually do this video, then I would repeat it like probably more here, more towards the end. So yeah, make sure that you're doing that more. Make sure that you're going back to your face tracking, which I've shown here, because a minute, surprisingly enough, is a long time now in this day and age, because everyone's attention spans are extremely low, and if they're not engaged for the next like 5 seconds, they'll swipe. So make sure that you're tracking the face, because it just sucks that kind of engagement back into the video. Yeah, if you've got any questions about this, feel free to message me. If you're wanting a tutorial of this but on CapCut, let me know and I'll do that for you guys. Or if you've got any questions about this on Premiere, feel free to message me and I'll help you guys out.